would you mind?
I'm going to call everybody by their first names. Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you do the same for me, please. I'm
like-
Sheena, since my
Sheena,
name can't be seen on the
I
screen.
think we are live now.
Yeah.
Yes, we are live now, Jigisha.
Yes, ma'am, we are live.
Great. So let me start by wishing you all a very good morning, viewers, and good morning, panelists. Thank you for joining us
Good
today.
morning.
It's an absolute honor. Today, our topic is all about image building, professional, personal branding. Thank you, Lagnajita. Now we can see you. Okay. And we have with us today, we have retired squadron leader Saumyata Singh. Welcome. She's also an image consultant. She is also a brand builder, so she works in corporates now. We have Sheena Misra Ghosh.
Hi.
She's a psychologist, a consultant psychologist working with AMRI Hospital, Fortis, and Apollo Clinic, Kolkata. We have Aninda sir, Aninda Banerjee. He is the CEO
Hi.
of media. And then we have the very, very talented singer and vocalist, Lagnajita. So thank you, panelists. We are looking forward to learning a lot from you, since you have so much of experience on various topics and you come from all walks of life. But just to give our viewers a little bit of context as to why we are focusing on this topic, our population, the Indian population right now is 138 crore plus. If you go to wordometer.info, we are adding a number every single second. If you look at the Google statistics for USA, a supermarket, an average size supermarket, not even a big Walmart, has 30,000 products in it to choose from. Now, Google search does not bring up a number for Indian supermarkets, probably because those are not that well documented. But we have some pictures, Jigisha, if you would please. So this is what essentially an Indian supermarket looks like. Can we have the other picture also for the viewers, please? The number of supermarkets have gone up in India from 500 something in 2005 to 8,500 in 2016. There are over 12 million small stores in India today. And we were supposed to reach a share of nearly 810 billion in US dollars by 2020. Thankfully, even though it's such a noisy market out there, and we have so much of competition out there, Mother Nature has miraculously made each of us a little different, a little unique in our own ways. What we need to do to stand out and to be able to sort of succeed, make a mark in whichever field that we belong to, is by focusing on, now these are two words I picked up from Debbie Millman, it's deliberate differentiation. So showcasing our unique features, our unique products, our unique selves, to be able to make a mark in whichever field that we belong to. We are going to find out from our panelists today exactly how.
You've frozen.
I think we've lost her because of the connection issues. But I guess we can start a discussion on, brand building and personal image and self-image.
Yeah.
Till she comes
Yeah,
back,
sure.
right?
So Aninda, would you like to take over, or Saumyata?
I can start with at least we can discuss what is a brand. So
Right.
as we were
Banerjee, go ahead.
as we were looking at the supermarket pictures, so once we enter a supermarket, probably we see a brand called Maggie. Okay, so Maggie has created that brand value in us, in which we have a lot of faith in the brand. So if we are actually attracted towards a Maggie, then we might go and buy a Maggie sauce. We could, it could be a ketchup. We can buy the Maggie noodles. So there are a lot of products under the Maggie brand name, which we can be attracted towards. It's because of the brand that has been established in our mind. Say outside a supermarket, essentially there are a lot of supermarkets in Calcutta which are in the shopping malls. So just you move out of the supermarket, you will find a Apple store. Okay, so now this brand Apple has been established in our mind in such a way that any product under that brand name would attract us towards, buying an Apple product. It could be an iPad or a MacBook Pro, or it could be an iPhone. And even in past years, we have seen people queuing outside those Apple stores when there's a new launch. So that is a kind of a brand value that has been established in the mind of the consumers. I would request Saumyata to speak on this a little bit.
Absolutely. I think the most important aspect of brand building is creating trust and credibility. That's what really pulls you through the lows and the highs. And when one is building a personal brand and wants to project a certain image about themselves, it's very important that they're authentic to really what they are. Unless they're comfortable in the image that they're building, they would never be able to actually carry it with the confidence and generate the kind of trust and dependability that they would want people from. So I think it comes from a place where, it takes 3 seconds to form a first impression about something or someone, 3 to 7 seconds, but it actually takes up to 3 months to change that first impression about the person. So people need to really look into themselves, that what really motivates me, or what drives me, what drains me, what doesn't work for me. And accordingly, they need to pitch their identity, what they want to be seen as. And it has to be congruent in all across. Not just about the way you look, it's about your self-talk, your actions, the way you treat others, the way you do your work. It's about even turning up on time at a place. So it has to be in resonance with you altogether. What do you say, Sheena? What's your take on this?
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Saumyata, and thank you, Anubhav and Devlina, for having me on this show today, or panel today. And so, brand to me, is something that you are yourself. I mean, the person that you are. So, just as legitimately as you say, Saumyata, that the one needs to have credibility, one needs to have trust. I think the first and foremost thing that one needs to really have is to be honest, to be yourself. Uh, if you want
Absolutely.
to build a brand, I think what you need to do is be yourself. If you are yourself, actually be yourself. Everybody else is taken. That's what was a nice phrase, I thought. That if you're yourself, then you are obviously projecting your uniqueness, your unique personality traits. Something, we are all individuals, we do the same things. Probably Lagnajita will agree to this, that a lot of people are singing, but what is it that we want to hear from Lagnajita? She's a brand. So what is it that strikes in her, or stands out in her, that she becomes a brand? So nowadays I feel that each one of us are actually a brand. We are walking, talking ourselves, and what we are doing, we are sort of trying to project it in the public eye. And especially after this, the pandemic, there's a shift when people were not probably that visible on social media, but now everything, most of it, of the job is being done on social media. So one needs to have a visibility, one needs to have a presence on social media. And I think everybody seems to be a brand today, and there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing wrong about it. It's something really nice that everybody feels somewhere that, I have this, it's a sort of a soul searching, where they're being able to sort of look into themselves, introspect, understand that this is some special trait I had, which I did not realize all these years.
Nadi,
So
there's a question I have regarding that for you later on. What
right,
you just
right.
said. I'm so
Okay.
sorry to the viewers that technical glitches is a part of new normal, but I do
Right.
apologize. We were just talking about glitches right before we started, and this had to
Yes.
happen the moment we started. So sorry about that, but I'm back, and I do appreciate your patience. Uh,
Yeah.
Aninda sir, may I take the discussion to Aninda sir, Sheena ma'am, if That's all right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Banerjee, I was just asking you, let's continue from there. Since you are experienced in helping different organizations create a brand for themselves, uh, I would like to know from you, since we've already talked and I heard Sheena talk about what is a brand, or who is a brand for that matter. Could you tell us if marketing and branding are essentially the same things, or are they
So,
different?
they run parallel. I would say that marketing and branding are very important to aspects of any organization, whether they are producing goods or they are selling services. So essentially a brand, as we were speaking when you were just out of this discussion. So essentially a brand is
Apologies.
something. Yeah, a brand is something which attracts consumers towards it. We were discussing about Apple being a brand. So when we see any logo of Apple, we get attracted towards Apple because they have established a brand in our mind. So brand is something which is attracting consumers. Marketing is a push drive. So if there's a pull and a push. So the pull drive is coming from the branding activity, and marketing generates sales. So under marketing, they could market a new iPhone. There could be a new, a laptop computer, or it could be an iPad. So branding and marketing are parallel things, but brand is something which needs to be established in the minds of the consumers. There has to be some consistency. There has to be some quality. There has to be some commitment from the manufacturer, from the owners of the brand, which will have a long-lasting effect in the consumer's mind for years to come.
All right.
Right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So consistency, commitment, and memory etched in the minds of clients. That is what essentially makes a brand. Saumyata, let me take the discussion to you. Can anybody, now that you are working with people, you help them find their image, could I ask you, can anybody become a brand? I know Sheena was talking about all of us being a brand unto ourselves, but we don't really think of it that way. A lot of us go by our days not really worrying about our image or what we are portraying. So, if we were to consciously think of ourselves as a brand, could anyone become a brand that people or the society sorts after, or people or the society they can rely on? And what are the steps that helps us become a brand?
Absolutely, we are already brands. It's just that, we all have something unique. You have to excuse my dog, he's just going all over
No, no,
the
that's
place.
absolutely fine.
So yeah, we are already brands. It's just that we all have our unique points or unique qualities. We need to project them in the right way. So when you talk about being a brand, I said that, when you were not there, that we spoke about that a person who wants to, when you're projecting yourself, the most important thing is to be yourself. Sheena also added on that it's important to be yourself, know what drives you, what motivates you, who you are. It's important to be true to your value system. And I think another important factor is not succumb to the pressure of the environment and the people around. Like, I want to be like that, I want to be like this. If it doesn't go with your value system, it will not set in, you will
Right.
not merge in. You need to, it's your unique identity, it's what you're communicating to the world. And while a brand reflects what you are today, it is also a roadmap to next 5 years of your life, where you're going to be, right? So we are all brands. It's all about finding that unique system and being authentic and projecting ourselves in that very way. So that is what I would like to say. And there are not really any particular steps to building a brand. I mean, yes, you need to be very, very conscious. You need to be consistent in your approach. You need to be who you are. You need to be careful. You are right. Like I said, a first impression forms in 3 seconds to 7 seconds, and a person judges you on everything, right from your clothes to your grooming to your accessories, everything. You being on time, the way you say good evening, good morning, your smile, your handshake. So you need to be careful of these things, because this is what is forming your image over a period of time, right? So that's my take on what you just asked me.
All right. So if I do summarize, then the question that I need to ask myself is, which part of me do I wish to portray? because I can't really bring out what is not there in me. So I can't really fake it. And also, what is my goal? What do I wish to achieve with the brand that I'm portraying? And
Absolutely.
thereafter, go about it.
Who's your target audience? Is
Who's
it a
my target
recruiter?
audience?
Is it your friends? Is it your teachers? Is it your colleagues? So it's all going to be based on that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's a very good tip. Coming to Lagnajita. Lagnajita, you are known for your non-conformism. Okay, you're probably the only person that I know who's not on WhatsApp, not very active on social handles, and yet no one can deny that you're a brand. So, my question to you has two parts. First is this non-conformism your strategy? Is this what you would like to portray as the most important part of yourself? And the second part is what led to your fame, apart from obviously your gorgeous voice, what led to fame? What was your, what's your secret?
Firstly, am I audible?
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
I don't take life seriously. I do it sincerely. I do life sincerely, but I don't take it seriously. So, brand for me comes much later on. What is very important for me is if I am living every moment of life to my fullest capacity, and am I doing exactly what I want to at that point in time? And just like you asked, a lot of people think that uh, this is my strategy to be away from things, to form that brand.
Hard to get.
Uh, e-
Playing
Even
hard to
if
get.
that is a strategy, I think that's a good strategy because it's saving me so much of mental space. And I've been off WhatsApp for more than 1 year now. I have been off Facebook for more than 1.5 year now. In between, I have gone outside the country twice. I did not even use uh, the SIM there. Every night I used to come back to the hotel. I used to my parents and my husband and in-laws from the Wi-Fi they had arranged. So I have lived life for 2 years and I have seen that it's complete possible to live life like that. I know in today's world it looks like an impossibility, but it is not. Uh, that is to answer the first part of question. And second, I think number one, I don't understand brand at all. And that does not mean brand doesn't exist. I do not understand a lot of things. I do not understand how NASA functions. Doesn't NASA doesn't exist. I am not good for NASA. So I do not understand brands. But as much as I understand it, I genuinely think brand is reflect glory. Somebody would want to, if somebody wants to see a brand in you, they will see a brand in you. If they don't see a brand in you, no matter how much you push, no matter how much you can get 20 PR channels ready and stuff, but I don't get why it works. So for me, brand is reflected glory. It's others' perception about you, and your job is not to gauge what the others' perception be. Your job is to just kind of live life the way you want, the way your value systems are. Just yeah, that's I think about unique branding.
Okay, thank you so much. Just to give you a little bit of history, since you talked about branding. So there's a question for you. Is being yourself not contradictory? Uh, Let me just see this. Is being yourself not contradictory to branding? That's the question. So being yourself is also branding. Are you not contradicting yourself?
This question goes to?
This
I
is for
think
Lagnajita. So when she says
Okay.
that she doesn't believe in branding and she believes in being herself, is she not contradicting herself? Because branding is being yourself and portraying yourself.
No, I'm not contradicting myself, because at the very start of what I wanted to say, I said that I do not understand branding. And that does not mean it doesn't exist. I don't understand a lot of things in this world. Similarly, I don't understand branding. So no, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm confessing that I don't understand branding.
I think to just give a little bit of history to the viewers, I think branding first started when we used to brand kettles with hot iron. Even before that, that's what we think. But even before that, if we go back to the caveman age, branding happened when they drew their own carvings on the cave to brand their own tribes or to brand themselves or to remember, to make sure that they're remembered, or to make sure that the caves are branded and other people know that somebody exists here. So I think branding in democratic sense of designing, or branding in the sense that we understand it, is a recent phenomena. But branding as a concept goes back a very, very long time. And it is one of those global constants that, according to science, is one of those global constants that people really can't do without. But like Lagnajita said, most of us don't really consider ourselves a brand. If you ask me, who am I? I'll say I'm a psychologist, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a brother. But I wouldn't say I'm a brand. Parle-G is a brand, L'Oreal is brand, Oprah Winfrey is a brand, Obama is a brand, but I'm just me. I mean, how can I be a brand? Which is what I think most of us go by our days thinking of ourselves as anybody but a brand. Since we are not cognizant of the brand that we are portraying or the brand that we've accidentally built for ourselves, it might so happen that a lot of the times this brand might attract negative feedback. So my question to Sheena is again, Sheena, what happens? I mean, obviously, if I attract a lot of negative impact, it's negative branding, then it's going to impact my self-esteem. It's going to have emotional repercussions. What do I do then to reconstruct myself or to rebuild my self-esteem? If you could give us certain tips on that.
Yeah. So, Devlina, what the question that you asked me can be like broken up into two parts. That
Yeah.
one is that what happens when there is negative feedback to the self-esteem, to the image, all that. So, of course, emotionally, one is affected if there is any kind of negative talk, or any kind of negative comments that are made, personally, any kind of personal attacks made on your image, or your what should I say, the way you are going about things. It does impact you. You feel very shattered, your confidence gets shattered. Maybe it's a bit of a blow on your self-esteem, your self-image. You don't know whether you are even ready to want to take the next step towards whatever you believe in. But when I talk about the other part of the of your question, which is called negative feedback, it is feedback all the same, Devlina. So here I feel any sort of feedback is basically giving attention to something. You are sort of seeking attention in some way or the other. Now, how you're going to handle that negative feedback is totally up to you. But it is some kind of attention that you're getting. Now, there are ways of combating this negative feedback if you talk about on a personal level, or on
An
a marketing
organizational
level,
level.
yeah, in an organizational level. But the thing is that when there is a lot of negative feedback, one needs to be very careful about how what we've seen is people with high self-esteem or high levels of self-confidence actually buffer any kind of negative feedback. They're not, it is not that they do not sort of, they are balanced people. They do not sort of tip over, and with any extreme situations. So neither does positive, too much extreme positive feedback, give them the one upmanship feeling, or does, or neither does the negative feedback really, sort of pulls them down. So what happens is this and the built up of a self-esteem and a self-image actually starts from a very young age, if we may go into a little bit of psychology. And so by the time you're actually building a brand, you're probably an adult and you are already in a way quite established. You quite established, emotionally you're established. So different people will handle negative feedback in a different way. So people who are probably not being able to handle negative feedback is sort of a blow, and they need to sort of strategize a couple of things and put things in place in order to move on in life. But there are ways of handling negative feedback on a very, very social level as well, which I'm sure Aninda will be able to take over and explain, that there needs to be a strategy. There needs to be, you need to take on criticism, on the face of the person. I mean, you take the criticism on the face, but also once you are dealing with the criticism, you need to sort of put a stop to it. I mean, there can't be something, the negative criticism can't go on and on and on. Once the problem is resolved, you need to sort of take it off from your from wherever the presence is, from the social media or people who are getting to see it, and it's kind of spoiling your reputation. That needs to be done. There are other things as well which one needs to do. For example, if there are trolls, one needs to sort of ignore a couple of trolls, because whenever, as I said, whenever you are becoming a brand, there are something good, some things good being talked about you, and there are certain things bad being talked about you. There
It's
will
like
be
we
talking.
say, जो है नाम वाला वही तो बदनाम है.
Exactly. And if I may, I would like to make a little reference to this latest web series, which is called Masaba Masaba. Now, Masaba Masaba is, a brand on her own. But every time there was a negative, negative sort of a situation in her life, she was treating it like an opportunity, and she wanted to come up with something, stronger, with a, stronger appearance, with a stronger idea, and I think it was working well with her, because she did not actually wait for those situations to really pull her down. She just wanted to shake all that, shake up from that sort of a situation and move ahead. And I think for today's session, I think that is a very good learning today, because it's a recent addition to the web series. And that's a very good learning from there, that even being so young, and she has her ups and downs, and they've shown her with so much, from such a close perspective, and we see her personal life, but yet she turns out to be a very professional, person, and carries her life so well. So I think negative feedback can be dealt with, and it depends a lot upon the person you are, again, the personality that you have built across over time. And that is how you're going to sort of handle your feedbacks, whether negative or positive.
Thank you,
Devlina,
Sheena.
if I may just
I
add,
I wanted to add on to Sheena's
Sure.
comment.
Yes, Mr.
That
Banerjee.
one thing she very rightly pointed out is that negative feedback is a feedback. So in a commercial world, a negative feedback is very important for any organization who is selling service or products. So a responsible company will always look into a negative feedback, will go into details and try to find out why the goods or the product went wrong. They would so much so they would replace a part, or they would replace a product, and they will finally find out whether a customer is satisfied or not, and which re-establishes the faith on the entire brand. So to handle a negative feedback is also important brand building exercise.
Mhm.
So negative feedback is very important in life, and
also,
organizations who do well, they are very serious about negative feedbacks, because positive feedbacks are good for developing the brand further and communication purpose, but negative feedback is also very important.
And
for
I
the
also feel,
quality.
I just want to add on to this whole thing. While we're talking about, negative feedback, how to take it, and from the organization point of view, from a person point of view, I feel, it's important to know whom to take feedback from and whom not. You cannot start taking negative feedback from everybody.
Very
There are
Right.
certain
important.
things you need to look into, that okay, is it just a one off thing, or is it really my habit? Am I really like this? And you have to have your own board of directors, a close group of people who will be honest with you and put things like the way they are on the table, and you need to take it in the right perspective and make changes. At times, like Lagnajita said, she doesn't know what branding is, she doesn't understand it, right? Most of us did not at some point of time, and we just kept doing our work, going about life, realizing that we have formed an image behind us. People perceive us in a certain way. When they get to know I'm going to work with Spondyl or Saumyata, they have an image about me. Okay, she's like this. I need to be careful. Oh, she's easygoing. Oh, she's very strict. That's the brand I have built about myself. And once I realized that, okay, this is where I've gone wrong, I had to take conscious steps to make it right. Yes, feedback was a very important part of it. But there's a way of giving feedback, and definitely there's a way of taking feedback and applying it to your personal life.
Thank you. I think I would also like to highlight one thing that Sheena just said. Um, People who criticize us or trolls on social media, perhaps, they give their comments and then they leave. What we do is we internalize that, and that becomes our inner voice. And even when the bully has left, we keep bullying ourselves. We keep giving ourselves that negative feedback. And that is, to the viewers, a very important point that Sheena has pointed out. Do not do that to yourself. So just like Saumyata said, take feedback which seems genuine, and even if it seems genuine, work on it, but don't let that become your inner voice. That is not who you are. That is
True.
just something that you need to correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, panelists.
No,
I
no.
think that is the essence of
Absolutely.
this conversation or this answer.
Mhm.
Since I'll stick with you, Saumyata, I just want to ask you further. You have a vast range of experience. You've been in Air Force, now you're working with corporates, and you're helping individuals build an image that they are comfortable with. Can you now? There must be some global constants when it comes to a professional image that is likable, that is reliable, and that is appropriate. So could you give us certain tips on grooming tips on how to present ourselves in a manner that would make an impactful impression on my clients, on people, my target audience?
Yeah, even we want to know, Saumyata. These are little tips even we are,
Oh, I'm
picking up.
under pressure now.
No, no.
We
So no,
desperately
I
need it, so we are looking forward to it.
so when you walk into a room, you're communicating. You're not communicating through words.
Hello. Hello.
We've lost her, I think.
Saumyata ma'am, are you there? I just want to ensure that it's not my internet. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
are.
are. You are.
Yes,
Great.
you are.
Great. I think we'll come back to Saumyata ma'am when her internet is back working again. Let me ask you, Mr. Banerjee. Let me take this opportunity to ask you, in the same line of questioning, what at the very heart of branding or image building that we are talking about, it's selling. The root goal or our entire point of it is selling a certain perception of ourselves or of our product. So what would you say makes a person a good salesman or a saleswoman? What do we need to acquire to be able to sell almost anything?
See, it's a very interesting question because all my life till now I have been selling a lot of stuff, and mostly success comes when you start believing in what you are selling. So you must truly understand whether it's a product or it's a service. I have never sold an engineering product because I am not an engineer. But so I have sold things which I would understand. I have sold services which I would understand. So to have a very good perception, very good knowledge about what you are selling, and to be convinced yourself that yes, you are doing justice and you are doing the correct thing by explaining the product to your target audience. It could be B2B sales, means business to business. It could be B2C sales. So that makes you a fantastic salesperson. You also need to have very good communication skills, because communication is very important while you are explaining a particular product or a service. And you also need to be a good listener. To be a good listener adds on to the confidence that a buyer would probably have in you. So once you listen to what your buyer needs, what is your buyer's expectation, what is the commitment level that your buyer is requiring from you, you will be furthermore convinced to sell your product and services. So these are a package of things that a person should have in order to be a really good salesperson.
So we would like a small display of your expertise. So if I ask, if you could show us how, say this or a pen, common pen, if you were to sell it, how are you going to approach?
I think
What are you going to say?
there is a little bit of internet issue. Just can you show me what you showed me once more, because the picture is not clear.
Any pen, or I'm just using this diary at the minute, and it's nothing special. It's
Okay, I
just a
can show
tiny
him the
diary
pen.
that I
Yeah.
do,
I
all
can
my
show you a
work in.
pen if you want to
Okay.
see a pen.
Yeah, or a pen.
Okay.
How would
So
you
the
sell
pen,
that pen? What would you say?
the pen Sheena just showed, I'm sure that's a ballpoint pen. It's not an ink pen.
No.
The uniqueness of that pen is that the ink will not blot. So, while I'm signing a check, if I use a pen like a ballpoint pen, which is not an ink pen, something like that, I am sure that my signature will not get blot, and the writing would be quite free flowing. It's a very economic pen, because sometimes when we are at a public place and writing on something, there are people around who would say that can I borrow the pen please? Can you give me the pen please? And even if I lose the pen, it will not hurt a lot of pinch to my pocket. So, and I'm sure that these pens on a day-to-day life, we should keep at least a dozen with us. So these type of pens are very much useful in our daily life.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful.
Really,
I think
so
a
good.
great applause.
I
So
really, I wouldn't
essentially,
have never thought of these points at all. Oh my God. I said, oh, and now an essay on a pen. Oh my God, this was really good.
so
Really
Mr.
Thank you so
Banerjee,
fantastic.
much.
what you did essentially is sell an emotion. You did not sell the pen, you sold an emotion. We
Right.
have Saumyata back with us. Brilliant. Saumyata, so the question was about grooming tips. So can we
I'm
have a
very
few tips
sorry,
from you?
my internet just dropped. So yes, so I was
Welcome to
saying
the
that
group.
a lot of your communication is non-verbal. So when you walk into a room, even before you say hi, probably the person in front of you has formed an opinion about you. So it's important to first thing which I really think is important is to dress according to the occasion and the environment in which you're going. So it's always okay to dress one notch up. So if you're walking into an be formal. If people are sitting there in t-shirts, you can always take off your jacket and come down a notch below. So first thing is dress according to the
Sorry, Saumyata, can you repeat that one more time?
I'm asking, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So I think that's important. You need to look clean. You need to be well groomed, whether it's your beard or whether it's about shaving, your haircut. For women, in formal occasions, it's always important to tie up your hair in a ponytail or a bun. Right kind of makeup, not very, very loud makeup. Right kind of accessorizing, avoid loud, huge. This is purely professional environment I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Yes.
about creative fields, right? So
Yes.
if you wear too big earrings or too big of rings, it is perceived in such a way. Be on time. Be on time. That shows that you take the whole interview or the meeting seriously. Smile and say hi, maintain eye contact, initiate the conversation, break the ice, be confident about the way you are. I think these are some basic things that we need to keep in mind when we're meeting people or entering a room for a meeting. 95% of the communication is through your clothes. So ensure it's not loud or it's not too casual. The choice of colors is very important. Color blue, it reflects trust, dependability. So choose your colors accordingly. Light colors for morning, accordingly colors for evening, not too bright, not too dark. So these are some very basic tips which I can give off the hat right now for grooming, and a lot about etiquettes also. So if you're meeting someone who's senior than you, like someone who's a CEO, don't just go calling him by the first name. Maybe you can check with him. Is it okay if I call you with your first name, or just stick to Mr. So and so? Similarly, if you are meeting someone, it's always okay to call them by name. But if it's a senior person, it's their prerogative to tell you that, you can call me by name. You can just call me by my first name. That is important. Avoid commenting about the environment or any personal issues, or how you look, or you put on weight. That's how we tend to greet people these days. So
No
don't make
body
personal
shaming.
comments. Not about body shaming. I mean, make a conversation which has some substance in it, instead of just trying to make small talk, which will probably put you in a bad light or make you appear immature. Also, keep your torso open. Don't fold your hands. Don't cross your legs. That shows that you're probably close to conversation, or you are close to understanding the other person's point of view. Maintain eye contact. Have a warm smile. And if you feel the conversation is not going right, or there's some awkwardness, try and break the ice. Make it pleasant. So these are the things which really help in making that first impression and the first impact when you meet someone.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Now, before I go to the next question, I would like to show you another small picture to the viewers. Jikisha, maybe have the photo on screen, please. Now, this is a photo. This is an advertisement that has been etched in my memory, and it created a lot of hype for good reasons. But that is what it is. It is branding is about, as Mr. Banerjee said before, is about being consistent, being recognized for the consistency, and it's about building memory. Now, this is a poster by Carlsberg. If you see that, if there's nothing written
Below
S
probably there is the logo.
and there is a tap, Mr. Banerjee,
Yes.
and the tap is for Carlsberg coming out of it, and people are queuing up for a drink of it free of cost. Now, this is more than just advertising. This is about creativity. This is about experiential sales techniques. This is about consistency. This is about of the product that is coming out of the tap. And this is about strategizing and organizational skills. Now, most of us, statistics show, thank you, Jigisha, we can take the photo off. I think viewers have had enough. When we go again, when we see the statistics, globally, 70% of the entrepreneurs don't make it. Yes, they have the technical skills of they're wanting to do, what they're wanting to build, but then the entrepreneurial skills are apparently missing. So this question is to Lagnajita. Lagnajita, you, for people who are not in 9-to-5 jobs. Sorry, Lagnajita?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear us, right? So for people who are not in 9-to-5 jobs, people who have to actually make a living out of building, again, a brand or an organization, people who are entrepreneurs in various sense of it, what are the skills that one needs to acquire to be able to establish themselves and their businesses? And how do you acquire those skills?
Number one, I think, well, I'm the person to talk about entrepreneurship. I can talk about freelancing and being an artist at that or whatever. I think number one is lack of you can't be greedy about money and things like that, and also try to become a good artist, because it takes a lot of time to establish any particular thing. Throughout the time, you have to be really patient and say, for example, if you have walked into an industry, my industry, I will just, because see, clearly I can understand that nothing to offer this conversation, because the people they are much well versed with the thing that I am. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but I just can do what I do. Number one, I have kept my standard of being really low so that I can take any risk at any point of time, and I'm not impeded by the fact that, oh damn, no, that EMI has to be paid, so I can't do this project. I have not let these things affect my life. Number one. Number two is the most cliched, like, history has seen people say this same thing again and again, but it is the truth. If you do not love what you're doing, I have no idea how to make it work. I feel so privileged and I feel so blessed that I've been able to, I've been given a life where I earn money by doing something which I really love. I know people are not that privileged, especially in our country. Many people are made to do things which they probably don't want to do, which they probably never wanted to do. I think to love what you do is it's primary. I have no idea what can be the other route. And the third and the last point, skill. So number one is no greed for money on other establishments. That is a skill, because that is something you have to practice, because every day you will see one of your colleagues or your friend buying a new car, buying a new house, buying a new phone, and you have to kind of, constantly yourself, like you have to telling yourself, no, it's okay, he has bought it, okay, fine. You don't go for it, because that's not your philosophy. So one is greed, second is love to do, and third is patience. In the sense, I am very impatient as a person, but when it comes to work, I'm very patient. So patience, patience, patience. I think, yeah, these three.
Okay, so basically live a simple life. Don't let your expenses cross your earnings. And second is don't give up. I think when you say patience, what you're trying to say is don't give up, work on it, and it's going to happen at some point, even if it doesn't happen tomorrow or today. I think what you just said is very much like the our credo philosophy that Johnson's and Johnson was built on, and it's still working on, and is one of the most well-known companies, products in worldwide today. And our credo, the first point, if you go on Google and read about our credo, the first point is give your best to the people. Your clients are the most important thing, and what you're giving is the most important thing. So give your most, give your best, and make sure that your clients are happy. And the last point is you need to make money for your shareholders. So that is a part of our credo, but that comes after you're giving your best to the clients. But Sheena, my question to you is whether we talk about organizational brands or whether we talk about personal brands, we are human beings. And an organization runs on employees. Happy employees equal to happy organization. Now, we have good days and bad days. This consistency that Mr. Banerjee talked about, Saumyata talked about, Lagnajita just pointed out, human beings have good days and bad days, and we might not always be up to delivering that consistent service. So can you give us some tips on emotion regulation that would help us not mix work and emotion and be able to give our best no matter what is going on in our heads or in our personal lives?
Right. Here, Devlina, again, I would say that, the first thing is when I think I'll take off from what Lagnajita said. She said a very beautiful thing. She said she is actually lucky in order to be working towards something she loves, like she's being paid for something she loves. Now, how many of us are really, can strive for that? We can't, because some people need to work because they need to work. And even though I think in our profession, if I may go into a little bit of self disclosure, it is important that because we enjoy psychology and all that, so that becomes in a way work for us. And that's most welcome, because if you are striving for something where you are constantly looking at the money gain, then financial gain, then actually you're probably not being able to put in your best by way of what you can do best. But if it is more that you're enjoying and it's a part of your life, this is more like a part of your life, the money and the financial gain and everything will just come automatically. You don't need to become a brand, or you don't need to actually promote yourself in a particular way. That will come just by you and your love for work and your love for the subject, etc. That's number one. Number two is also take ownership. What I feel is that instead of constantly looking at myself as part of the organization, if I take responsibility and if I take personal ownership for the part that I am playing in the organization, I think in the bigger picture the outcome will be way better. Because if each one of us take ownership of the part that we are doing, then till the point of time you are fully satisfied, you will not sort of give up a shoddy job. And that perhaps actually adds up to the organizational image and the organizational branding, etc. So I think these 2 points are very important. That first, that your work is a part of you, and if you have the love for that subject, that becomes work for you at one point of time, and that comes very spontaneously. And number two is that take ownership and responsibility of the little part that you're playing, and that itself will sort of add up to your bigger outcomes. So I feel if these two things are done, then there'll be a good return, and that is what we are all looking for. It helps in the long run, because then you also sort of, because branding is something where personal branding or otherwise is something where you are trying to project yourself by way of the person you are, the way you will conduct yourself. So that can add up little by little and make an organization. But firstly, it is you, the person in the organization, you as a being of the organization. So I think that adds up and that helps.
So
I don't know whether I've been able to answer. Sorry?
Of course. So Sheena, what you're trying to say essentially is make work your anchor. And that could be the strength that you could draw strength. We could all draw strength from what we are doing, and if we are doing it well, I suppose. So a lot of ups and downs would happen, but as long as we have a focus and an anchor, we will live. It'll be all right. So yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for the tip. And this is my final question. We are running out of time. And this is to all the panelists. Whoever would like to take it, please do give your inputs. For people who are struggling, for people who are finding it difficult to find their footing, to make a mark in their respective fields, what would your suggestion be to them?
Well, I can just give a little bit of this thing.
Banerjee.
So there are people who would be working in a particular organization, trying to have a foothold in the organization and slowly try and grow. So A is that they have one has to love the work that the person is doing. So without a love for the work and commitment, one can never succeed in life. And there is a bit of discipline also required when you are working in an organization or you are working professionally for yourself. So for example, I'm running my company. I have to have certain disciplines in myself in order to be on time every day. I should have a sound mind that I will be able to take the correct decisions. I should have good, qualities in me to listen to people who are coming to me with troubles. And when there are a lot of troubles on my table, I should have that intelligence to handle one by one troubles and complete all my work. So I have to have a process in place. So it's not about an organization process. Also, my individual processes should be correct enough so that I can finish off my work, I can deliver on time, and I'm completely disciplined as a package, and I love my work. So if this happens on a regular basis, one will definitely develop in life and have certain foothold in the industry, be it for personal or be it in an organization working for some good company.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. I think we all draw inspiration from what Saumyata ma'am said before we started this session. Saumyata said, even though she's not an Air Force officer now, she still wakes up at 5 in the morning and she goes by her day with the same strict discipline. So I don't know about others, but I am drawing inspiration from there because I think if I could do that, then I would be a lot more productive. I would go by the day in a more relaxed manner, and I'd probably be getting done a lot more than I'm getting done right now. So thank you for sharing that with us as well, Saumyata.
Most welcome. So I just want to add a little bit to what Mr. Banerjee said.
Yes.
I think, as a professional who's trying to make a mark in a space, and let me tell you, we are all working in crowded spaces. It's important to take ownership and responsibility, as Sheena said. It's important to rise to the occasion. Whenever you're required to deliver it then and there. Avoid office politics, gossip, and don't sweat on small stuff. Chai nahi mili, pani nahi mila, cubicle nahi mila. All this is small stuff. It's important to focus, remain focused, and most important is your communication, verbal, non-verbal communication. I know I'm been harping throughout on communication, but trust me, it
No,
does
that is
wonder.
very
The
important.
golden rule is to not communicate the way you want to, but communicate the way the other person wants to be communicated to. He has to understand what you're trying to say and what it implies and what it means. That is when your communication has succeeded. You can't just say what you have to. Everybody comes from a different background, conditioning,
Of course. Of
understanding,
course.
perceptions, perspectives. So it's important to mind your communication, focus on people, don't judge them, don't interrupt them, listen. We often tell a lot about ourselves, our environment, but it's also important to listen and understand. So other than discipline and ownership, these are some very important things which will make a difference in your personality and your branding over a period of time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. I think the time is up. We literally have 2 minutes, but we can't end this session without two lines from Lagnajita of your most famous song that
Yeah.
that we started knowing you by. I would like to because that's what made you a brand, right? Boshanto eshe geche. So
Genuinely.
so just two lines.
I was hoping this would happen. Thank you, Devlina, for this request.
You're welcome.
গগনের নবনীলে মনের গোপনে বাজে ওই বাজে ওই বাজে ওই. That's 2 lines.
Oh. See, I wasn't wrong, right? When I said
That's so
she's very
mean.
hard to get.
So this is what I meant, communication. You should have communicated. You said 2 lines, she understood 2 lines.
No, I was kidding. I was kidding. I'll just. বাসে বহিছে নয়নে লাগিল নেশা কারা যে ডাকিল ইচ্ছে বসন্ত এসে গেছে মধুর অম্রেয় বাণী বেলা গেল সহজেই মর্মে উঠিল বাজি বসন্ত এসে গেছে থাকতব ভুবনে ধুলি মাখা চরণে মাথা নত করে রব বসন্ত এসেছে বসন্ত এসে গেছে.
Wonderful.
Beautiful,
Wonderful.
beautiful.
Very nice.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite, Lagnajita. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's-
You and
it's
me
so
both,
nice.
Mr. Banerjee.
And it's
Thank you,
unplugged.
viewers.
It's beautiful. It's
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Got a beautiful
That
Yeah.
is her main weapon, I think. So that is why, she's not been talking much about strategy because talent is a strategy, I
It
suppose.
just follows her. It just follows her.
Yeah.
It's just her. Yeah.
Thank you, panelists. We have run out of time, but thank you so much. It was such a wonderful session. And just like Sheena said before we started, it was more of getting together and chit-chatting and having a nice adda conversation, a good chance to catch up on a very important topic on a Sunday morning. Viewers, if you would like to get in touch with our panelists in person, if you have further questions or you want their service to be availed of, then these are the contact details of our panelists. Please do take a note and do get in touch with them as and when you need. We are, of course, Anubhav is always at your service. These are the services that we've been offering, and these are our contact details. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. We are just a call away if you need us. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, panelists, for the morning's lovely, lovely session. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank you so
Devlina.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.